Racing. I'm here to bring you the highlights of our race 2 from our sprint race championship here at Sports Sugo as we see the Formula rookies line up on the grid. This is the second car in our club race championship here. We have five cars racing around the same track, simulated a proper club race weekend you'd find at a normal racetrack, at least here in the UK. Race 1 saw the GT5's ambient stub took a fantastic victory. The footage of that is on our YouTube. Please feel free to go and watch it. There's a couple of other videos from round 1 of Rapuna Park. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get all 5 videos. This is not the case this week, so you make sure you keep an eye out for all 5 videos, all 5 races here of this round. Let's have a look at our grid. On pole, we have Abel. He's out front. He leads Sam Thumfinger in second. These two guys didn't have the greatest of runs last time in round 1. They want to improve. Sam Thumfinger finishing 6th and A8 finished 9th overall. In third position we have Wayne. He had a not a great run out in these Formula rookies, so he'll want to improve on there. Ice Dude is in 4th. He's alongside, he's just in front of Inter All Sorts. He is currently our championship leader after winning round 1 in Rapuna Park. He's alongside Jeff Spencer, who had a fantastic race last out. He's in the black and blue Tiger livery. He's alongside Nathbet, who finished 3rd on the podium last time out. He's ahead of Lord of Lincoln in the red livery, and debutant in these Formula here is Kingy. We saw Kingy take a surprise 2nd place in the GT5s. Can he prove what it takes to drive these Formula rookies around here? Ambient Stub, he's in 10th after will he be able to adjust from the GT5s into these Formula rookies? And debutant Papa Whiskey at the back of the grid. This is a random grid order. We use a new practice into a random grid here for these races, so it gives the maximum potential for a little bit of chaos between these drivers, and some of the less able drivers could start at the front of the grid and give them the opportunities to get round here. So without further ado, let's go to the track and see how this race turned out. And we're away. This is an 8-lap race here. These cars a little bit different to the GT5s. They only have 5 gears, a lot less power, so you're relying heavily on keeping momentum. As we're watching Inter take a look at the back of Ice Dude, it's a team 1-3 and 2-4 here, as 8-Ball leads Sam Thumfinger in 2nd. Ice Dude holds 3rd, getting a little bit sideways into the chicane. Inter All Sorts is behind in 4th. Nathbit is in 5th. He's got Jeff Spencer for company in 5th. And Wayne is directly behind him in 7th. Lord of Lincoln in 8th. Kingy in 9th. Ambient 10th. And Papa Whiskey has struggled to get off the line there. Wonder if he stalled the car. He's 10 seconds down in 11th place. As we're watching here, the 1 to 10 all in the line as we come down the hill into the kink before the braking zone. Sam Thumfinger takes a look on the outside. Mikey defends. These cars getting very sideways around this corner. In fact, Nathan goes very wide there. Jeff Spencer is through up into 5th, and Nathan's teammate Wayne had a very similar problem, but he's run the opposite way. He's dropped down into 10th. This battle for first though still rages on. Mikey is 8-Ball. He's defending stoutly from Sam Thumfinger. As we watch Ice Dude go off the picture there, he's into the wall. That has allowed Sam Thumfinger into through, but my student has dropped down the order. That will cause him considerable damage. The number 8 green leather Ice Dude, he will not be happy with that for sure. This allowed these 3 drivers to break away. Nathbit's coming back at Jeff Spencer there behind, but these front 3 are battling. In fact, Sam's looked to take a move on the inside of 8-Ball, but that's allowed his teammate Inter All Sorts through to see if he can chase down the leader. Nathbit has kept ahead of Jeff Spencer, and that's Kingy in 6th. Ambient Stub, after all this first lap chaos, he's found himself in 7th ahead of Wayne, and 2 drivers there have a complete moment. It's that Kingy and Jeff Spencer off the track there. Jeff Spencer ends up in the wall That would cause him a little bit of damage. Kingy is in 7th. Lord of Lincoln has got him to 8th, and all that's promoted Ambient Stub up into 5th. You can see the red livery car as we're watching In Sorts take a different line. Can he squeeze his way through? Brakes a little bit late, a bit of contact, a bit of rubbing here between the drivers. These cars can take this small amount of contact, but they won't take much more than this. 8-Ball has kept the place in first though. Into All Sorts in 2nd, Sam Thumbfinger in 3rd. These guys going to have to be put under pressure. Ambient Stub, who's on an absolute charge, is in 5th, and he won't be wanting to close up to these guys as quickly as possible to maintain the maximum points. Up the hill we go. Enter All Sorts is taking a look, using the slipstream here, moving the car to the outside. Mikey looks to defend. Will Sam take a look on the inside? Thinks better of it, brakes early. 8-Ball just holds his position, holds that inside line defending. He's definitely a little bit slower than these guys behind. It's the power of the slipstream in these cars. Very low on aero, very low on power, but the slipstream is absolutely ferocious these days. We watch Inter All Sorts have a little bit sideways there, and more contact with teammate Sam Thumbfinger in 3rd. That's allowed Nathbit to close up to the back of this battle, and the red livery of Ambient Stub is also there. Top 5 drivers now separated by 2 seconds. Kingy's in 6th. He's going to be closing in on this battle soon. Lord of Lincoln is in 7th, and then there's a bit of a gap then to Jeff Spencer, Wayne, Ice Dude, and Papa Whiskey, who I believe has retired from the race after his bit of an awful start getting off the line. Just keep an eye on this battle as Inter All Sorts looks to take advantage of Mikey A8-Ball struggling around the circuit at the moment. He just doesn't have the pace to break away from these cars. Inter All Sorts makes enough room for the gap. Let's push 8-Ball wide, and that will cost him a lot of speed coming up the hill. Inter All Sorts has made his way into first position, but the tow here has allowed 8-Ball a run back up the hill, as Ambient Stub has in fact got up into 4th further behind. He's taken over the advantage of Nathbit on the inside corner. Similar move to what Inter has just pulled, as Mikey gets a little bit sideways into turn 1, and that's cost him the run out the corner. That's going to put him under pressure. All 5 drivers here, all on the same moment of screen, all battling as Inter runs a little bit wide, kicking up dust to the cars behind. Ambient Stub's putting Sam Thumbfinger under a lot of pressure, and he's going to want to get past Mikey A8-Ball as soon as he can. In fact, there's a bit of contact there and absolute chaos between the drivers, and Mikey's off track. Inter All Sorts is out ahead. 8-Ball runs a little bit wide there. Ambient Stub is in 2nd place now. He's under pressure from Nathbit. Sam Thumbfinger has gone from potentially taking 2nd into 5th, and that's allowed Inter All Sorts to break away from the rest of the grid. Nathbit has a look on the inside as Ambient Stub runs a little bit wide. We're coming to left hand. There's a little bit of sideways moment. Nathbit's closing very quickly, and there's a bit of contact between the 2 cars, and Nathbit is off and into the wall. Ambient Stub is around, and that's allowed Kingy all the way through. Inter All Sorts out front. Sam Thumbfinger in all that chaos takes P2. He now leads Mikey A8-Ball in 3rd. Kingy takes up 4th position as we're coming on to lap 5 here. Ambient Stub recovering. He's in 5th position. Nathbit behind him in 6th. Lord of Lincoln, he's in 6th. He would have had a good view of all this chaos at the bottom of the hill. He's closely followed by Jeff Spencer. Wayne in 9th. Ice Dude in 10th, who's carrying a lot of damage from an earlier incident. And then Papa Whiskey rounds up the grid, but he has retired from this race as we head back towards the front of the grid to see Mikey up the hill. He's chasing Sam Thumbfinger. Does he have the pace now to, in the reverse of position, to be able to hunt down? These 2 drivers have been battling for the entire 5 laps of this race so far. These battles have allowed Inter All Sorts to get ahead. and you can see the gap there. These front drivers have started to spread out. Kingy, the opportunist, he found himself in a fortunate second position after keeping his nose clean in the GT5 Cup, and he is now fighting his way through the order here in the Formula Rookies. These two guys are trying to close down Inter All Sorts, who has a 2-second advantage ahead. Coming on to end of lap 5, climbing up the hill. Inter All Sorts run a wheel on the grass there. That won't help his plea to try and break away further from these drivers. In fact, these two drivers behind are closing in. On to lap 6 we go. Inter All Sorts is in first. Sam Thumping is in second. 8-Ball in the green livery in third. Kingy, he's closing down. He's in that blue livery, the drag and drop livery there. He's in fourth. Ambient Stub, I wonder if he's got any damage from that collision earlier with Nathbit. He's in fifth, but he doesn't seem to be closing this gap to Kingy ahead. Nathbit is in sixth. He's dropping quite quickly to behind here with a few laps to go. And in fact, Lord of Lincoln is catching up at quite the rate. In fact, lost 2 seconds in that last lap. Jeff Spencer is very close behind as well, so Nathbit will need to be careful. Wayne's not too far behind. He's in ninth, and Ice Dude, he's just looking to complete his race and try and hope that some of the further drivers ahead have got damage or have another incident. He's at 40 seconds behind. As we jump back to front of the grid, Sam Thumpfinger has closed up on his teammate Inter All Sorts. There's less than a second here. Mikey behind, he's probably got a little bit of damage from the contact with Sam Thumpfinger. Not the cleanest of racing between these guys. These cars particularly tricky to handle, especially you have to get them very sideways to go around some of these corners to maintain your maximum speed. But we have had fantastic racing nonetheless. Will Sam Thumpfinger be able to use the slipstream up the hill to gain a position over his teammate? Not on this lap. It is still going to lap 7, the penultimate lap. Inter All Sorts leads his teammate Sam Thumpfinger by half a second. These two drivers now breaking away a little bit from 8-Ball in third. Kingy maintaining that gap. He's closing in on the on this little bit of a battle. He's closing on 8-Ball ahead, but he's also maintaining that 4-second gap to Ambient Stub in fifth. Nathbit is really struggling now. Lord of Lincoln behind has closed up a second on this last lap. We can see the battle closing in, and in fact Jeff Spencer is still there in the background. He's going to want to try and take advantage of this. Nathbit seems to be very slow in a straight line here. I wonder if he's taking some aero damage. The car weaving a little bit as well, so he's definitely got a little bit of suspension damage. And we see this car getting very squirrely, very sideways around these corners. Coming down the hill. Has Lord of Lincoln got that pace in this car? Jeff Spencer directly behind as well. Doesn't look like anything's going to be happening on this lap as we go back to the leaders. Sam Thumpfinger even closer now as we're coming up the hill. On to the final lap of the race. Sam Thumpfinger is closing this gap using the slipstream. Will he have the ability to have a look into turn 1? A very good braking point here. Inter All Sorts looks to defend. Sends Sam the long way round. No way to do on this lap so far. Further behind, 8-Ball is under pressure from Kingy. Kingy running a little bit wide, but he's going to try and carry that speed down into the chicane. And further back, we see Nathan under a lot of pressure here from Lord of Lincoln. Lord of Lincoln has got the outside run. Nathan trying to break the toe, just doesn't have the pace in the car. You can see there's damage on the front nose cone there. That will be slowing him down, and Lord of Lincoln is up into 6th. In fact, Jeff Spencer is a second behind now. Will Jeff be able to catch up further on in the race? This is the final lap of this race here, the Sprint Race Challenge. Inter All Sorts coming down the hill for the last time. We're watching Kingy put 8-Ball under so much pressure here. We're coming down the hill, brake, so he dives out the slipstream. Will he be able to brake later? We see Ambient Stub in the background there. He's going to take advantage of any driver mistakes here. As we see, what's one of the drivers there? That's our leader. That's our race leader there. Inter All Sorts had a spin under braking. He's now in 4th. Sam Thumbfinger has taken the lead on the last lap and has a 3-second advantage over this battle behind. Very fortunate for him, but he'll be happy nonetheless. Kingy is now in second. Kingy is in second and 8Ball is in third. Another great opportunistic race here from Kingy as Sam Thumbfinger drives up the hill to cross the line. He takes his first win in the sprint series. Kingy is a second for him in his first round out. 8Ball in third. Inter All Sorts will take fourth here. Ambient Stub will mop up in fifth. Lord of Lincoln here is he's going to take sixth, and there's a battle up the hill here. The very injured Nathbit is under a lot of pressure here from Jeff Spencer. And in fact, has Jeff Spencer going to be able to get a run on Lord of Lincoln as we come close to the line? No, it seems, but Jeff Spencer does take second. Nathbit, who looked very racy early on, drops down into 8th. Wayne finishes 9th. Ice Dude is a little bit behind, and he's going to round up the grid. That was absolutely fantastic racing. A little bit more contact than what we'd probably like, but these guys are racing very hard as Ice Dude goes for a bit of a trip onto the beach there. Resets his car there. Not much to do for him, just a little bit to get to the line here. Well, that was a very interesting race and very surprising result. Sam Thumbfinger very fortunate to take the second place, and Kingy holds it all as well. Pressed the wrong button there, apologies for that. But thank you very much everyone for watching. It's certainly going to shake up the results. And as mentioned, this is the second race we have of 5 in our sprint race challenge here at Fresh Racing. So thank you very much for joining us here for race 2. Keep an eye out for the 4 other races that will be streamed this footage of. Hopefully we'll be able to enjoy them. We also have the M1 Pro cars in race 3, the Vintage Formula D Lotus 25s in race 4, and the Ferrari 488 series at the final race, which should be taking place in the dark. A very powerful car around this track. So thank you very much for joining us here for race 2. We'll hope to see you, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the races.